ITRBoxing. You heard it here first. Pretty cool videos. And I heard they're also in HD. ITRBoxing.com.
Okay, and then talk about, you got Dusty Hernandez Harrison. He had some contract disputes. He's now working with you. Remember running that Mike Dallas fight? Mike's from where I live. Is that where you guys are trying to go, or where are you going with Dusty?
Listen, Dusty's extremely talented. To think that you have a 3-year layoff, come back to boxing, and you're 30-0 and still only 24 years old. It's so insane what they've accomplished already in his career. Yes, there is a bit of a blemish on his record. It is Mike Dallas. There was a draw. I know he took that fight with no one in his corner, and I do think he wants to clear the air up. So Mike Dallas, if you're out there, I'm the guy to talk to now. Let's make the fight. Let's make it on the East Coast, and we can make it worth everyone's time.
And what do you expect from Dusty? Because like he was a young guy who had a lot offered to him, and then his career kind of stopped for a second. What do you expect?
Well, sometimes people forget where these kids come from. Dusty is not from a white picket fence home or coming where he gets a school bus ride to school into a private school. Dusty's from the hood, and he got himself mixed up in some trouble, and now he's out of it. So we expect Dusty to be a world champion. We want to get that belt above his head and keep collecting more. And he wants to keep DC on the map. So I expect Dusty to keep fighting really frequently, bring that weight down, and then he's going to campaign at 154 pounds. And when he gets there, people will know he's there.
Okay, and Samuel Vargas, he's kind of like the talk of the town. He made waves with the Amir Khan fight, got a close one with Louis. What's going on with him?
Sam's a special case. Him and I have been best friends since he was 10-0. I think that we've done a lot with him. He's come a long way from where he started. Kid only had 9 amateur fights. He's blessed. Boxing has let him see lots of parts of the world. He's made some good money, and now I think he's made a name for himself. He's like the new age King Gabe Rosado. The difference is this time he's going to get a couple more wins, and we're going to put him in the right fights. It's just a matter of time.
And that's interesting you say that, because he has a relationship with Billy Briscoe, who has a relationship with both of those fighters. Is that a Billy Briscoe thing?
Believe it or not, I found out about Billy because of Gabe. I used to watch Gabe, and I saw what he did with Billy, and sorry, vice versa, what Billy did with him, having such a limited amateur experience. And when Sam and I said, let's go stateside and find a coach, he was one of the guys that we checked out, and I knew right away that these guys meshed together, and they did a lot together. And right now he's working with Rudy Hernandez, and I think everyone takes things from different people in the sport. It's a lot of love with Billy Briscoe still and Sam. It was just a lot of conflict with other fighters he had, and scheduling, and him coming up to Canada to train him, or vice versa, him going to Philly. And Sam had to go out to LA, and he's fallen in love with Rudy right now.
And Rudy just got a world champion with Ito, so I mean that's no slouch of a coach. Like he's cornered a lot of people. He actually cornered Mike Alvarado in the second fight and basically coached him to a victory against Brandon Rios. So that's a kind of like an unknown hidden gem of a coach.
Yeah, I think Rudy's so overlooked because he's such a damn good cut man that people forget that he's one hell of a trainer. When we had the options put in front of us, and Rudy was one of them, Sam trusts my instinct, and I said, let's go down there and check him out. And he will say that there's just the little things down to the basics he's been learning back with him that he just feels like it's a whole new start of his career.
So it's kind of like he's a fighter where people think they've seen the ceiling, but he's kind of relearning things and might surprise someone.
Listen, Sam's learning on the job. Every single fight he shows improvement. It's like you could go to carpentry school, and after 5 years you come out and you're one hell of a carpenter that can build all types of things, and then there's another guy that's apprenticing beside the carpenter, and he keeps learning and learning and learning, and then before you know it, you go look at a house that he built and you're like just blown away. Sam's one of those guys that every time he goes into that ring, he's learned more and he's taking it in. He's just a sponge with knowledge.
Okay. So first let's talk about Lee. Like, you got Lee, what do you expect from him and all?
Lee Reeves is a special fighter. We've been moving him really quickly, but the bottom line is this kid's got 3 pro fights, and he's the main event of the show, fighting a guy with 20 fights. This is what I'm trying to bring to Toronto. a much higher class, push guys fast, and bring guys out to really show what world-class boxing is. And I expect a lot out of him. We've invested our time, invested some money in the kid, and he truly is what I think he is. He's looks like a model, can talk, can fight. There's not much you really need to ask for, other than the fact that where he's born is probably one of the most supportive countries in the world. We really think that this kid can go far.
And this April 20th card, is it April 20th? Is that the date? Yeah. So tell me, tell the good people on the YouTubes why they should take their hard-earned money, the money they work so hard for, and come down and watch some fist fights you're putting on. What are some of these attractions?
So this is the 7th show now at the venue I've been working at. I got this series that I created. It's called The Next Generation, and it's similar to a ShowBox type of thing where we put a lot of local guys and prospects on, guys that have about 15 and under fights, into tough fights, and the fans really enjoy it because it's tough fights. There's things on the line, sometimes there's local rivalries, but this one is going to be really special. We got Lee headlining. He's an undefeated prospect with the Irish following. Got Kane here on in the co-feature. This is now his 16th professional fight. He's on the verge of international stardom. And we also got a bunch of local guys in the show too.
Okay, is there any fight you want to break down with your veteran knowledge of the industry or anything? Is there anything you're keeping a keen eye on and want to cause some trouble with a headline?
I'm really curious to see this Baby Joe Miller AJ fight. I think everyone is just expecting a certain type of fight, but I've seen holes in AJ's game, and I think if anyone is out there that could potentially expose him, it's Baby Joe. Now, I'm not saying it's a sure shot, but if I was putting money on an underdog fight right now, I think that'd be the one.
Do you feel comfortable saying some of the holes? Because I think I've seen a hole too, but I'm just curious if it's the same hole.
His chin.
Well, I was gonna say
his defense.
Also, his cardiovascular.
I didn't get that far, but I'd say if he can take him into later rounds. People fail to realize Baby Joe might not have a huge amateur career, but go try and train with football players. Those American football players, they get it in, man, and mentally they are strong. And I just don't see AJ knocking that guy out. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, Big Baby, he's a big man, he's a conditioning freak, and he puts on constant pressure from the first bell to the last unless you stop him, and he hasn't been dropped yet. So it's a very tough fight, I feel. It's a very risky fight.
Yeah, it's a risky fight for him to travel to another part of the world, too. I don't know exactly where AJ's doing camp, but that stuff plays a big role, man. Moving over here, adjusting the time, adjusting the climates, and fighting a guy that's from there, that genuinely is walking in to the Madison Square Gardens feeling as confident as ever. I really don't think Baby Joe Miller at any point is not thinking he's going to win this fight. It's going to be an interesting fight.